You mentioned the penny turning around. Has that moment happened? Is there a specific moment, maybe Australia, where you start to think, okay, this is happening?
We felt it like that, yes. We can only see now against Sweden if that was the case, but we felt that we really needed it, for ourselves especially, to have the confidence that this path is the path that we really choose with each other. And both staff and players gave it that boost that we keep going on the way that we've chosen. We've been discussing with the players to play higher opposition, the risk of it, but especially the benefit of it. And everybody bought in and everybody wanted it like that. So we were strong as a team against the criticism, but it's good. We needed this moment before the campaign started.
When you talk about going in that one direction, does that involve a style of play and a philosophy that you believe this Ireland team should be playing with?
Yeah, my philosophy is that you get the best, how simple it sounds, the best out of your own players and eliminate the strength of the opposition. And if the opposition is ranked much higher than you, of course their strengths are bigger to fight against than how we can benefit from their weaknesses, even though we always find that and try to play that. And that is why we're growing. But while being under that pressure, we grow under those moments as well, our defensive moments. And what you see is that we can make better choices, that we're more flexible, and flexible in playing different team organizations, but also flexible in the acting in the football situations themselves. You could see that on players doing one step left or right or back in the way that they deal with situations. And again, you can only learn that against higher opposition.
And also through volume of games, I presume. If decision-making is a key part of what you want to instill, getting as much time as possible with these players, I assume, is essential to that.
Yeah, but don't forget, between the Iceland game and the Australia game, we didn't see each other for 4 months. The situation at the moment for national teams at our level, where we haven't played finals yet, is that we miss 6 games a year because slots have been taken out by FIFA for Champions League games. But our players, only a few of our players are in those Champions League, Katie McCabe, for example. So that means that we have to congest everything in those few days, and therefore we also work with the players, especially the players who do not play that much, out of camp, with video clips, with phone calls, with Teams meetings, and when necessary, only when necessary, and that helps us growing, not only the players that play, but also the players that are either on the fringe or on the bench, because everybody is growing at the moment.
You mentioned that they're growing and the team is making progress, but do you think if you had those 6 weeks extra, the progress would be quicker?
Of course, it's 6 games. And 6 games in a year under that pressure is a lot. I've been discussing with UEFA if there's a solution for it. I have said that it might be a solution to open up a few of the Champions League slots for friendlies, international friendlies, and without the Champions League players, of course, because it's a Champions League week. And let's see if that suggestion gets some ground, because if you want to avoid that the gap gets bigger between the top nations and the second tier, is that the right word? We're just knocking on the door of the top nations. If you don't take care of that, then that gap will grow instead of that it gets smaller.
But that could be a really interesting idea, because then all of a sudden the Republic of Ireland have to play without Katie McCabe for 6 games, and that could be a really interesting opportunity for a couple of players, whether it's on set pieces or just more responsibility.
Yeah, I think the last one especially. It's not that it's interesting because she's not playing. It's interesting because we have another game then under pressure. And we have had games like against Belgium and Denmark, especially Denmark, that we played our second, let's say the second players that usually do not play that much. There were players who hadn't played at all since I've been in, because we only had qualifiers. And even that game, or also that game, let's say it better, also that game we played again better than the previous game of a few days earlier with the players who were playing regularly. And that is something that I always emphasize. If you say one philosophy for me is that the lineup players are as important as the bench players, are as important as the players that are at the home base session. Everybody gets the same attention or even more attention from me if they need it.
When it comes then to the pathway of a few of these players, obviously it is fantastic to see some of these players in the Champions League, and it's a great thing, there are so many different leagues represented in your squad this week. Have you got a handle on what pathway is most beneficial to any of these players at the moment?
It's very individually. If you see Savannah McCartney coming in, she is coming out of the WNL. She was involved 5 years ago, got an injury, but really want to be involved again, starting to train with boys a few times a week, putting everything in to get on her own level and even better. She jumped in the squad because suddenly she came out of the home base session, first out of the Women's National League, the scouts reported her, then in the home base session, and she did so well that she came into the Australia camp immediately in the lineup. So it's not only the international competition, it's about the investment that players make. And the investment needs to be at high level. So if you do not get enough pressure during the week, maybe only 2 times at your club, or 2 training sessions at your club, you need to find it elsewhere. And she found it like all of the Irish players now in mixed gender training, and that tremendously helps.
Is that something that you see as something that a lot more clubs should be doing going forward?
Well, almost all home-based session players have found their place already. Right. So it's very regular, it's very common now, and any player who's not doing it yet, she needs to find it because otherwise you cannot catch up. Yes. Under 17 has now won from Norway and won the whole group with 3 wins, also Bulgaria and Hungary, but also won from Norway, top country, especially at youth football. So it shows the path that we're on, it shows the togetherness with all the national team coaches, with the ETP centers, and it shows that if you have continuity in togetherness and having a philosophy in getting those players to a higher level, that you get there.
For sure. This camp then, is it a vibrant place considering you've got so many different players from different leagues playing different brands of football all the time?
Well, we always have the first day, we give some more space, right, that players see each other again, exchange experiences, chatting, enjoying, because it's Ireland, it's their home, it's their roots. So all the players love to be in here. And the first day we always have a bit of more space for that.
It's been really interesting watching your era as Ireland boss. I think what's happened is a real wave of support has increased with the team. Obviously, as many tickets as could be possibly sold this Thursday have been sold. We also remember the heartbreak, I guess, from the last campaign, the Ukraine game in particular. How much have you and the players channeled that into a positive, I guess, reason to go that extra mile over the course of this campaign?
Well, I think that was especially at that moment when we realized that because of ourselves we didn't qualify, because of an own goal, missing a penalty kick, missing chances on the goal line, clear of the goal line, against an opponent who actually didn't have anything to say against us, even though they were higher ranked. But we realized dramatically that in the situation where we are, it's one game that you have to win. And that's the second game against your direct competitor for the second place. And that is what we've taken out of it. But other than that, we're just focusing now on getting better to have the best team and the best performance against Sweden. Best performance ever. That every game we want to have the best performance ever. And so far we've done that. So we keep on that path.
Do you have a direct ambition then, obviously, the performing in every game, as you say, but as an end product from this group, have you set yourself a specific goal?
Yeah, qualifying for the World Cup.
Pretty self-explanatory, isn't it?
Yeah. And we believe in it. We believe it is possible. It will be really, really hard because don't forget that also Slovakia is a very hard team. Finland is ranked much higher than us, but Slovakia only lost 1-0 and 2-1 to respectively Sweden and Finland. So losing points against Slovakia is also an option. Probably those games are the most important for us, our games against Slovakia, because the games against Sweden and Finland will take care of themselves. Yeah. And we'll see if we are at a level already that we can steal some points there.
Well, Vera, it's been great chatting to you. Very best of luck with the upcoming campaign.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me again.